Hello. Thank you guys so much for watching my previous video, and for all the new subs, thank you so much. I'm going to go through this quick. You guys need iron, so do I, so does everyone. Thousands of it. So how do we do it efficiently? I think I have found two good spots that I love to go to because they're near towns that have good, at least on my server, they have good tier levels of workshops, things like that. And they're super efficient if done correctly. So the first thing I want to point out is this website right here. It's amazing for finding resources, right? So what you do, as I usually hide all, hit ores, go to iron, and I turn on cities, right? So I can just see where everything's at. So as you can see here, you know, most of the iron is located on the bottom side of this map here in the biggest density clusters, right? So my first favorite spot here is right outside of Monarch's Bluff in this area. Now, here's my particular route that I do. So I kind of drew on top of this map here. I do this figure 8 sort of pattern here. And so if you think about efficiency when mining, right? The most efficient thing that you could possibly do is a circle where, you know, you're hitting every node, and then when you get back to the original point, the iron starts to spawn again, right? So it's a cyclical nature, right? That's the most efficient way to do resources in this game that I found, right? So with this Monarch's Bluff iron route that I created for myself, I kind of do this pattern here. Where I wrap around, come back, and you can start anywhere here. You know, there's bots that hang out in the top right corner, so you have to kind of adjust to other people also mining, so it's not going to be absolutely perfect, but this is a sweet route that I've built for myself. Now, if you want to get really sweaty with it, one of my YouTube subscribers came to my stream and showed me another one, and he told me to credit him as Oisacin. So much love, thank you so much. And this one is a little bit more involved if you want to get really sweaty with it. So this right here is actually located right outside of Cutlass Keys, right? So this is here on the map. But he taught me this kind of circular pattern to come all the way back exactly at about 11 minutes when the big iron starts to spawn again. So I kind of, after he showed me that night on stream, I went ahead and I recorded each of the iron spots that we went to in his exact, you know, pattern that he usually does it. So you start here, you know, I've labeled this, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And as you go around, basically the short version of this is just go around the lake and look for iron. But sometimes you won't be hitting the spawns of the iron when they come back, right? So this is a very detailed like route that you could take, that once you get back to 1 here, you can go all the way through to 18, 1 should be respawned again, right? So you should be catching these iron spots right when they spawn. So like, and if you're doing it right, I've gotten upwards of 3 to 4K iron within an hour with star metal tools. And in fact, it's been brilliant. I mean, I've leveled, let's see, maybe I've gotten up to 100 in furniture making in a few days, doing this iron route, getting all the resources myself. I didn't buy too much except for sandpaper, things like that. So the thing about this, right? So once you have this route, you have to get good at kind of slowing yourself down sometimes, especially if you have something like star metal tools, right? Or if you have a higher mining level, you're going to go through this iron here, right? So in between a lot of these areas here, as you see, there's oil spots, there's, you know, other moat mining spots like the death moat, things like that. And I highly suggest that every once in a while you go to the oil spots and you mine it, not only just for the oil, but it kind of slows down your pace, and you're getting extra resources in between these iron nodes, right? So like this spot right here is so good, not only because of the iron, but for the extra little resources that you can get. There's oil, there's a few hemp spots, you know, and for me, I've been learning more and more as I delve deep into crafting that, like, even just picking up, if you see abundance of resources around that's not iron, but you're going for iron, pick them up, because even if you don't use them, you can sell them, and then that means more iron, right? So, this route right here has gotten me tons of iron. And now you might ask, like, hey, why aren't you going over here? Why isn't this included in the route? Well, maybe you could go over here as well, but there's lots of enemies. There's lots of other lower level players doing quests here, getting the iron. But this kind of roundabout circle, if you keep running it, is just brilliant for getting iron. And also here, I labeled this as opportunistic because there's 2 iron spots there that people usually get, but you don't want to, like, you want to be on time for when the iron spawns again for up here, right? And I would suggest maybe going for this iron as you're coming down this slope here, or going for this in between 7 and 8 here. I mean, you don't have to do this exactly, but I've found over time that this exact route actually has some good benefit for the spawns. So those are my 2 main iron routes. I'm going to have both of these photos on Imgur and linked in the description. I'm also going to have this New World map resource here as well. And the last couple of things I'm going to talk about here actually is you know, the little things that can also help benefit you snag iron as much as you can. I started making these proficiency boosters, and I think it takes a certain amount of engineering. I know I'm using weak. I could probably buy, you know, stronger proficiency boosters. So if you want to get really sweaty with it, you know, buy this. This is huge. Especially, I think these proficiency boosters are huge for getting trees, right? For getting greenwood, because like 10 minutes, you know, sometimes the iron doesn't hit, it doesn't spawn, and you might end up wasting potions. So like, you either gotta have a lot of potions, or, you know, you gotta recognize when you're hitting all those iron spawns and you're just getting it, right? Or else you might waste some of these potions when doing iron mining. You know, of course, have your harvesting gear on, as always, when you're doing that for the extra goodies coming in, extra luck. And then I also want to show you a few other things that aren't related to iron as tips. So if we come down here, right, so when you're leveling up your professions, right, there's a lot of other resources that are needed, like sandpaper, flux to make steel, you know, all those little things that you get from chests. So I do a lot of my crafting in Monarch's Bluff, right? And right here, I'll start in Monarch's Bluff, and, you know, I used to use Azoth to travel back down here to get my iron, you know, get like 4,000 iron, get like, you know, a couple thousand iron ingots, and then, you know, teleport back to my crafting city, right? But I started just running through and actually going to this area here, which is so good for getting sandpaper, flux. I mean, if you run through here, all these houses, especially if you're higher level, you can just kill all the enemies. You'll end up with almost like 400 sandpaper, 400 flux. And I've probably spent upwards of 3,000 just on those materials alone in like one day. So this could really cut down the cost of leveling your professions, and all this is really for getting to that level 100 on your crafting stuff, like engineering, weaponsmithing, armor smithing, and furniture making, which I've been working on. I'm addicted to making my house look sick, you know. Just got a bear rug put in, looks dope. But anyways, one more thing I'm going to leave you guys with is right here. This spot right here, if you want to get fibers, this is the spot to go, man. Right here. And then this farm in particular. I believe this farm, or in this farm, I think has a lot of hemp at it. So anyways, guys, I want to just thank you guys so much for all the views on my last video and all the new subs. I stream on Twitch and YouTube simultaneously. If you want to stop by and yell at me and ask me questions, or you know, tell me your most efficient mining routes in the comments or on my stream. Can't thank you guys enough. I'm going to be trying to do a video in the coming week that goes over gems from a more mathematical perspective, because a lot of people were asking me about what gem to use in my Oisacin musket build. So stay tuned for that this week. Much love. Thank you.